Hi basketball family, welcome back to the channel. What makes Alicia Tournebize's debut hit harder isn't just that she played, it's when she played and who trusted her. Because this wasn't November. This wasn't a tune-up. This wasn't a comfortable home game where mistakes get swallowed by the crowd. This was Texas. On the road. With South Carolina carrying the weight of expectations that crush most programs, every opponent circles them. Every coach schemes for them. Every arena treats them like the final boss. And Dawn Staley knows something most people forget: pressure doesn't wait until March, it introduces itself early to see who's real. That's why this moment matters. Because long before Tournebize stepped onto that floor, Dawn Staley had already decided something about her. Not publicly. Not loudly. But decisively. You don't just wake up and decide to trust a newcomer in a game like that. That trust is built in silence, in practices that never make social media, in film sessions where details are dissected frame by frame, in how a player responds the first time they get corrected hard. Especially under Dawn. Dawn Staley doesn't coach fear out of players by coddling them, she does it by demanding truth. If you mess up, she tells you. If you drift, she pulls you. If you don't defend, you don't play. Period. So when Tournebize earned minutes against Texas, it meant she had already proven she could handle accountability. That's rare. Texas knew exactly what they were doing when she checked in. You could see it immediately. They shifted. They hunted. They tested her angles, her footwork, her awareness. That's basketball language for one thing: we smell blood. But there was none. Tournebize didn't shrink. She didn't rush her handle. She didn't overhelp. She trusted the system, and that's the biggest compliment you can give a player in this program. South Carolina's defense is built on precision. One wrong step collapses everything. And Tournebize stayed connected. Shoulders square. Hands active. Eyes up. There's a possession that won't show up on highlight reels, but it told the whole story. Texas ran a set designed to force a switch, isolate the weakest defender, and attack downhill. Tournebize got caught in it, exactly what Texas wanted. And instead of panicking, she did the hardest thing in basketball. She waited. She absorbed contact. Stayed vertical. Forced a tough shot. That's when Dawn Staley nodded. If you watch her closely, Dawn doesn't overreact. She doesn't jump at big plays. She reacts to decisions. And Tournebize kept making the right ones. Offensively, the maturity was even louder. No forcing touches. No rushing shots. No trying to prove she understood spacing. She understood timing. She understood that sometimes the most important thing you can do is keep the offense flowing. That's how you earn trust with veterans. Because stars don't want help, they want reliability. And Tournebize gave them that. As the game wore on, something subtle happened. Texas stopped targeting her. That's when you know. When an opponent stops hunting you, it means the scouting report has changed mid-game. And in a road environment like that, that's massive. The crowd felt it too. The energy dipped. The noise lost its edge. Because the moment Texas hoped to exploit never arrived. Instead, South Carolina stabilized. And this is where Dawn Staley's long game comes into focus. This wasn't just about surviving Texas. This was about expanding the ceiling of the roster. Elite coaches don't just think about the next possession, they think about the next 2 months. They think about fatigue. Matchups. Foul trouble. Injuries. Tournament weekends where depth decides who cuts nets. By trusting Tournebize here, Dawn unlocked options later. That matters more than any single box score. Because now, when the rotation tightens in March, Tournebize isn't an unknown. She's a proven calm presence. A player who's already faced hostility and held her ground. And that confidence transfers. Players don't forget moments like this. When your coach believes in you before the world does, you play freer. You defend harder. You speak up more. You become louder in the huddle. That's how leadership starts, quietly. The locker room felt it after the game. Even if nobody said it outright. There's a different respect when a player proves they won't crack under pressure. And Dawn Staley? She's been building teams long enough to know exactly when a player crosses that line. This wasn't a debut. It was an introduction to the rest of the SEC. To future opponents. To March. So when people ask why South Carolina always seems ready when the games matter most, this is why. Because Dawn Staley doesn't wait for moments, she manufactures them. She throws players into the fire not to burn them, but to temper them. And Alicia Tournebize didn't just survive the heat. She absorbed it. Now let me ask you again, because this matters for how you understand elite coaching. Would you have trusted her there? Or would you have played it safe? Drop your answer in the comments. Debate it. Argue it. That's what basketball culture is built on. And if you want more deep dive stories like this, the ones that explain why moments happen, not just what happened, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because Alicia Tournebize's story is just starting. And Dawn Staley already knows exactly where it's going.